welcome to the All Things BMX show. It's episode 239, and you're alone this evening with myself and Bryan. It's quiet in the studio. All the mice are sleeping. All the children are waiting for Santa Claus to bring them the Crenshaw frame. There we go. It's a shameless sponsor plug, ladies and gentlemen. It's what we do here. I want to thank Matt over at Crenshaw for hooking it up. Look at that dialed piece of machinery right there. Tell you what, rides like a dream. You're in for a fun one this evening. We have Bryan Dorsey joining us, the legendary Bryan Dorsey, the voice, the man himself. We're going to be talking about everything from Major League, and we're not talking the baseball. We're talking movies, to BMX, to motocross, to making candy. It's going to be a good show. You guys tune in. Thank you guys for joining us. You can join us each and every week here on the All Things BMX Broadcast Network. That's on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We bring you the interesting guests each and every week. We're coming to you live from the Ethan Clark Studios here in the busy metropolis of Heartland, Michigan, which, just for the record, we almost lost Heartland. We did. We almost lost it Sunday when the tornadoes came through. Good thing we knuckled down. We held it together. We still have Heartland and both stoplights. We got exciting news coming to you from our sponsor of the Ethan Clark Studios there, Motor City Harley-Davidson. We got big things happening this weekend at Motor City. Swap meet Saturday. Who doesn't like a swap meet? I've yet to meet anyone that doesn't like a swap meet. This Saturday from 11 a.m. They're getting up early. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. They are doing the swap meet. Bring your Harley gear out. Bring anything from apparel to bike parts and not BMX parts. Bring your Harley parts. I mean, I guess Nick might be there, so, you could probably take your BMX stuff there. Bring it out. Hang out with the crew over there at Motor City Harley. Always a good time. And, enjoy the swap meet. Buy a new bike. Tell them ATB sent you. And I'm here alone this evening from the Getaware News Desk here. Thank you, Bill Prince. And we do have some breaking news for you. It is straight out of the Beer Budget Porta Potty 6 compound. We're talking about getting Ricky to the World's Raffle. You guys can get your shot at this right over here. I want to show you guys. I'm going to put this up on the screen for you. We're going to go to this one here, and I'm going to throw this up on the screen for you. And there we go. So we have the Ricky Carter World's Deluxe Yeti Raffle. We got a good fundraiser going on for you. You can get your shot at winning this Yeti full of booze, scratch-off tickets, goodies, merchandise from the Beer Budget Show, and Ricky Carter himself. Tickets are only $10 a piece, so you can get 3 for $25. You guys can check out the links over at Beer Budget BMX or at the ATB page, or if you're friends with Ricky Carter on social media, you can go over to his page and check it out over there. You guys, our show doesn't happen without the following people that support our show and help us out. One of them being our guest this evening. So we're going to do some plugs here before we get started. I want to thank our good friends over at Krupp & Carter. He just gave me a little teaser. He said, hey, man, there's a package on the way. It's some new stuff. And that's all he said. I'm excited to get this from our friends at Krupp & Carter. Krupp & Carter is the official BMX brand made by BMXers for BMXers. You guys make sure you check them out. They got a new... they're going to be doing a new contest. They got a whole new spot set up for it. They were doing a little live feed earlier. Good stuff from Krupp & Carter, our good friends over at On Two Wheels. The next national they're at and you're at, go over and say hi to the gang over at On Two Wheels. Tell them ATB sent you. Our good friends at the Hack Shack. They're your full-service mobile bike shop. The Hack Shack is one of the best, if it isn't the best, sprint stand you can purchase on the market. Telling you what, get yourself one right now. You can pack it in your bag, take it to your races. It's small, it's portable, and adjustable. They work. You've seen them in my pictures when I'm out doing the sprints. Get one for yourself. Along with the sprint stands, not only do they make those, they also make straight hack and side hacks. Check them out, man. You can get your custom-built side hack, your very own. They're pretty awesome, I got to tell you that. And they'll make them all the way up to a 29-inch bike. So how cool is that? You can get your own side hack. Hit up Mike Melvin over at Straight Hackin' and make your side hack dream come true. Can't forget about our good friends over at Wrenchman Wheel Builds. And he's got laced up the Gate 9 wheels on the Crenshaw that we had up there on the screen a few seconds ago. Make sure you check them out. They got a raffle going on for one of their riders. They're trying to get them to the Worlds. So check them out. And when you guys order from him and you mention ATB, he'll send you a free high five. Always a good time for them. Our good friends over at Dye Job Apparel, they bring you Melissa's Trivia each and every week, and they are the place for one-stop marketing for your brand, your team, whatever it is, your business. You need custom apparel, you need tchotchkes, you need swag. This is who you go and see. Make sure you tell Sean that ATB sent you. When it comes to showcasing your identity, you can't get any better than Dye Job Apparel. Check them out. They can make everything happen, all right? They do for us. I just got some water bottles from them, man. I have to bring them down here and show them to you guys. And last but definitely not least, our good friends over at DB Sports World, New York's upstate premier BMX bike shop, mobile bike shop too. They're always out at the track. They're doing things. They are going to be hanging out. They hang out with our guest that's going to be on next week. So that's your teaser for you guys to stay tuned so you know who next week's guest is. But they got everything from complete bikes to custom builds. He gave us a little tour of the shop the other week. My goodness, he's got it going on over there. For all of our links for our partners, you can find in our chat or in the show notes. So you guys make sure you check it out. And it's kind of fun telling you that our guest is brought to you by Danger Snacks, because that's his company. But Danger Snacks brings our guest each and every week. Danger Snack is the difference between dragging ass or hauling ass. When you're in staging and you think you're going to be dragging ass and not hauling ass, I'm telling you, pop one of them bad boys. And when you guys order, make sure you guys use the discount code BRODEAL. Get yourself a little bit off, okay? And I got to tell you what, order this week. Order a lot. Order a ton. Order a whole bunch, all right? BMX Rocks Photography, they were down there at Steel Wheels this past weekend, and I'm telling you, BMX is alive and kicking, man. We had Rock Hill going on. We had a state race out in California. We had races going on all over. We had a Gold Cup at 100 motos. Steel Wheels, Indoor, Indiana. Man, what a race. They bring you your chat question this week, and we got a good one for you. So we're going to toss this over when we bring the guest on the screen, and I'm going to ask him. But first, you guys that are watching, wherever you're watching the show at, put it in the comment, man. What did you guys think of the new Pro Series format that they partnered up with the Flow TV? Like, what did you guys think of this, man? Because I'm telling you, I got some thoughts, man. I do. Without further ado, man, I want to welcome our guest into the show, Mr. Bryan Dorsey. How are you?
I am well, sir. How are you?
Doing good, man. We're going to have a good time. Going to be running the whole show this evening, all right?
I like it.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, did you happen to catch any of the feed from this weekend at Rock Hill? Were you too busy?
Dude, I wish I could have. I was at a crazy motocross race in Joshua Tree,
Okay.
California, just north of Palm Springs at a brand new motocross track.
Mm-hmm.
And I got cooked. It was awesome.
Great. We're going to talk about that too, what you're doing here. But I want to share this with you. If you get a chance, go back and check it out, because they gave you the first pro race free over on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it. They did some crazy knockout rounds, Bryan. So no matter how many they were, they went straight to the semis with it, okay? And, it was a wild cut. Like, I think 7 points was the number to go to the semis, and I think did 40-some riders the first day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no quarters, dude. Like, right.
So it was like LCQ the whole time.
And those semis, my dude, you're talking bangers in each one. It was, and there was some great racing going on too. So BMX Rocks brings our chat question. You guys haven't done it, check out her VIP deal. It's one cost, and you get all the pictures she uploads. That's our question tonight. You guys, we want to hear from you guys in the chat. Let us know what you think about that pro format this weekend. So on top of that, Bryan, they brought Connor Fields in, and he was doing interviews at the finish line as the pros and the futures were running. So,
Nice.
yeah, kind of getting that, getting that Supercross vibe. Little bit, that motocross, supercross vibe. You're familiar with this because you do some announcing in it. But me personally really dig it. It did enough for me to sign the check, so to speak, to buy the subscription so I can catch the next pro races on Flow. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I different vibe. And there was some technical hiccups a little bit, you're talking a whole new format. So obviously on the production side, few hiccups, but overall, they also brought in, Bryan, like relevant packages that they ran in between the races. So, like the USA Foundation slash STEM program, they had a little video they were running in between the rounds where they were at like one of the local schools there in Rock Hill. But it was that week, right? So that's what was cool. Kind of like when you watch the race day live or something like that, and they put that package together, and it's like something they did a few days before.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was pretty cool. And then they went around and they had interviews with the pros and from there, before the race that weekend. So like all the stuff was current that they dropped in there.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out for
Yeah,
sure. I'm gonna check out Flow as well.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of other content on there too. Um, that wasn't a. I'm not paid by them, FYI, for you guys in the chat. I just really enjoy it. But
Well, you should be.
well, they're doing big things, man. And look, we're always hey, if you ever, you dabble over there, maybe head over the No Hold Bars. They're always talking about it's got to be on TV. Well, it's on TV now. No, it's not NBC. Those days are gone. Like this is how it is. This is where it's at. It's awesome. Man, what's been going on, man? How's it been?
Oh, dude, it's been kind of crazy. It's been raining over here in California. I actually had some motocross races canceled.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit gnarly, but things have been going good. Working on the Danger Snacks
Yeah.
and doing some other design stuff on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Putting on my creative hat and jumping on my mountain bike. I'm getting the itch though to come back and do some BMXing, man.
Well, you got the whip to do it, man. You got the bike. Um,
Yeah.
Real quick, give us a for people that didn't catch the show you were on the first time. We typically start the interview with how did you find the sport of BMX. We asked you that the first time you were on, but if you want to, give us a quick recap, kind of how you found the sport of BMX, and that 10,000 foot overview, how you got to where you're at now.
Man, I was sitting in a bike shop in Arcadia, California, and this nickel-plated mongoose with moto mags just
Ooh.
caught my eye. It had yellow snake belly tires and Ashtabula forks, Ashtabula one-piece cranks, clear grips. Dude, that thing was sick. This is like 77 or something like that. And I went back to my mom, and I said, "Hey, mom, will you buy me this BMX bike?" And she couldn't really afford it, but that woman made it happen, man. She bought that bike, and the guy at the shop said, "Hey, they have local races in Monrovia and also in Azusa." And Azusa was the track that Rich Long and Wanda Long were running, co-founder of GT. And that's where I had my first race, Azusa BMX, probably 78. And there was a crazy young kid out there just flying. His name was Harry Larry, and a couple other guys, Kenny Battle, Kim Jarbo, Tracy Thomas, some really fast superstars out there. So I got a chance to get into BMX down that route.
Nice. Like it, like it. And for those tuning in, your last name comes from a legendary announcer, along with yourself in that legendary category. Linda, your mom, for those that are, the NBL folks, your mom was, if not one of the most popular announcers, along with Roger, in the sport. And Redman, there's plenty, but
Of course, there's a
um,
bunch of them.
there's plenty of them. Yeah, so you come from a long line. Your mom of announcing, and now you're announcing, and you're announcing too now over. You're doing some motocross racing, right?
Yeah, I gotta give props to Whittier Narrows BMX for asking me to announce. John David had made some noises at a couple of nationals in around 2012. Hey, you ever think about announcing? And I always like public speaking, but it was Whittier that sort of handed me
Mm-hmm.
the mic and started me on the BMX journey. And I was doing that for about 10 years. I still do a race here and there. I miss it for sure. But about 4 years ago, our good buddy Dwayne Taylor, LRC Mongoose, said, "Hey, dude, you want to announce some motocross? And I'm like, yes. And so next thing you know, I'm in the tower at LA County Raceway and then at Glen Helen Raceway. I couldn't believe I was announcing motocross at
Wow.
Glen Helen Raceway. So following after the footsteps of my mom, Linda Dorsey, Hall of Fame BMX announcer. I got a couple of her little passes right here. These are a couple of Christmas classic passes. I got a big box of all her Christmas classic and the grands and the Dew Tour and all that stuff. So thanks to her, I have some Dorsey in my blood so I can talk some shit on the mic.
So when you're announcing motocross, because like Melissa and I've been to Redbud a handful of times, I'm always curious because sometimes you can't hear the announcer. Are you announcing like you do like a BMX race? Is it sort of that play by play where it's like so and so this? Are you doing that when you're announcing motocross races?
Yeah, the sort of production term is I'm on the floor, so I'm in the announcing tower
Mm-hmm.
calling, who crosses the line first. We got Thompson out in the lead, and the guys up in the booth like Carmichael and Stewart and Lee Giffey, those are the guys sort of talking the strategy
Mm-hmm.
and, predictions and all that sort of stuff. Haven't made my way up into the booth yet. Maybe someday I'd love to do it. But yeah, I'm on the floor and I kind of like it there because I can direct the party, get people fired up. Man, there's a race on the line. Are you guys ready to rock and roll? And gate is down, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
When there's a pass or a crash or anything, even if someone's down, to help sort of distract the crowd if it was bad, just little things like that. So it's very different than BMX, though, I got to tell you.
Yeah, and so your motocross track lays out. It's a big area. It's a big footprint. Can people hear you all the way around the track?
Garbage in, garbage
Oh,
out,
good.
right? If there's a good PA system around the facility, Glen Helen has a great one,
Okay.
then and they can hear. Oftentimes, I'm announcing out of the back of a box van with
Oh.
speakers on the top. So it's pretty much around registration. So people will come by to sort of hear what's
Mm-hmm.
going on when they need to know something. But we broadcast on FM. So I'm always
Nice.
announcing that FM station so they can turn their RVs or their truck radios on and hear out in the pits. So it's kind of like a makeshift PA for those tracks that are sort of out in the boonies.
Gotcha. Funny story. I got a allegedly. I have a 1 watt FM transmitter sitting over there.
Dude, those are hard to
Yeah.
get.
Well, I had to do some finagling, a little soldering on it to get the 1 watt on it, because we were toting it around to the state races years and years ago for the same thing. So you get to the track and maybe like way out in the parking lot they couldn't hear, so I just would plug it in line with the PA, and then they could. You just tell the people at the track like tune it into 80 something or whatever 89, and then they could hear. But yeah, it's a little box. I'll show you after the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I'd love to see your box. And
I appreciate you want to see my box. That's probably why we're good friends.
yeah, it's been very different announcing motocross. It's great because there's quite a few BMX families who I coached and announced at the
Mm-hmm.
BMX track who were racing. So it's always awesome to see the BMX family out there, and I always give my mom a little bit of love, try to tell as many stories, especially, her and Roger Plaskett stories, them getting into trouble and all that good stuff.
Ah, and how many years have you been doing the motocross announcing now? You said what,
It's
4?
4 years
4.
now, and I'm I'm getting to know the riders really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in BMX when you just know you can spot their gear or their riding style
Mm-hmm.
or there's always something. You look at a guy like Tosh Moravia off Factory Skyway back in the day, little dude, but just the way he held his wrists on the gate, never wore gloves, there's Tosh.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Are you so in BMX comparison, when you're like announcing at these uh, motocross races, are they locals, like regional, national level?
So, Swap Moto Race Series is a local Southern California series, and they do have an AMA-backed national called the Mini Monsters. Mini Monsters happens 3 times a year. There's one in, I think, Alabama, another one in Texas, and another one here in LA. So that one's coming up here on March 24th through 27th, and it's a 3-day na amateur national. And it's pretty much to celebrate the younger riders. So it's riders on 50s and 65s, 85s, 150s. And there's some crazy fast racers racing at the Mini Monsters. As a matter of fact, most of the guys that I was announcing back a couple of years ago are now in the futures in Supercross.
Mm-hmm.
So Landon Gordon, and Timmerman, those guys are all guys who, when I first did my first amateur national for the Mini Monsters, which used to be called the Mini Majors, those guys were tearing it up. And it wasn't specifically those guys, but I was watching these little dudes who didn't look little by the way they were riding, because they were whipping it so sideways over these massive triples that weren't supposed to be a triple and just really aggressive and confident, nose down aggression. And when I went up to interview them on the podium, they'd take their helmet off and they were just like little skinny dudes. And even a couple of them, were nervous to talk on the mic. And I was like, bro, did you see how crazy you whipped it sideways over that triple and you're afraid of a microphone? So, it's pretty trippy to see and get to know these riders with their helmets on and their helmets off because they are badass, man.
Mm-hmm. That's funny you mentioned the 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 futures. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, they when you check out the new format, you'll see a
Okay.
tie-in.
All right.
Yeah, you'll
I
see it.
feel it.
You'll see a
I see
tie-in.
where you're going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, hey, so who's somebody you've is anyone like doing the Supercross series and right now that like you remember from maybe when you started or first few years into the motocross announcing like now
Yeah, I
that's
would
doing.
say for sure Gordon and Timmerman. There's another Hawaiian rider. I'm gonna have to remember his name, but there's a bunch of them. Those are the two
Hmm.
that have been dominating the futures right now. So I'm trying to think if there's any in the big show right now. I can't think of any names off the top of my head, but man, they grow up so fast, don't they?
So I got hooked on the whole motocross supercross probably like 8 years ago,
Mhm.
and they do grow up so fast. They
Yeah,
grow up
it's
so
it's
fast.
nuts.
You're like, but I'm telling you, like I didn't follow the motocross supercross before that ever. Once in a while when it come to Detroit, I think like back when McGrath was like real big, we'd go to the Pontiac Silverdome and watch him do his can't was it a knack? Yeah. That was like the big thing. But it didn't follow it much just when it would come. I'm telling you, I feel like right now in motocross, it's a good time because when it's main event time in Supercross or at a motocross national, dude, honest to God, any one of them could win.
Yeah, and that triple crown or whatever that
Ooh,
thing
that's a
is
good
is
format,
is
dude.
just awesome. It's
Yes.
just like main after main after main
Yes.
after main. It's just like feed me Seymour. So damn good.
Yeah.
I love it. It's weird, man. I think back to McGrath days and he was so good that he actually made it boring for a little while because he was so dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but incredible still, exciting. But then the Carmichael and Stewart days came,
Oh
and
yeah.
just your mind was blown, especially winning 24 motos, getting a perfect season, getting two perfect seasons back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Just craziness. But then looking at Sexton and Lawrence, I mean, both Lawrence brothers, it's you never think that it'll be that good again, and it
Yeah,
is. It's different good.
right. I mean, you get you come out of the era of that Stewart, Carmichael, and then all of a sudden Anderson, then Kenny, and it just keeps.
Yeah, and Dungy and Villapoto and
Oh
just all those
Jesus,
guys
yeah.
that are now out of it, which is crazy. Hey, I did get to announce Ryan Villapoto's kids.
What?
Yeah, so both Villapotos have been out there, which is cool. I've announced Nick Way's boy, who's fast, still running the 27 like his dad,
Oh.
and so it's kind of fun to see that. I haven't announced Reed's kid yet, but soon.
Hmm.
He's been at Glen Helen, on the AME, doing the AME series, which is the Alessi's little kid
Hmm.
series, but yeah, it's awesome to see the just the cycle, the cycle of life, how they sort of pass the torch.
Yeah,
Pretty amazing.
we uh is it Christensen? What's Craig?
Christian Craig, yeah.
Yeah, his kids a few years back when we were down in St. Cloud, and yeah, it was when Rick Carter and I had the battle of the podcasts on the last straightaway because we were fighting for seventh and eighth. We his kid did the Stasic race, and we're like, why is everyone going up there? It's the Stasic bikes, and we didn't even know till afterwards. I think somebody in like one of our group chats like, did you guys even know that was him that was there? We're like, no, it rained, and then we were hiding under the tents and stuff, and they
Dude, I remember watching his dad at the Mickey Thompson series, which was sort of a little series happening alongside Camel's Supercross back in the day. Like, I think that was even pre 1-800 collect Honda, maybe right around there. And at the jumping out of the peristyle at the Coliseum, just crazy. And that boy can ride. Christian's too bad he keeps getting hurt. There's
uh,
just so many of them that keep getting hurt. It's just a bummer. And then, it was so heartbreaking to see Anstie hurt himself. I'm glad it wasn't worse, but still, it was just like, top of your game, and it's just like, can you just sit down for another four
right.
months? Just chill out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Motocross Hour with Brian and
Right?
Justin
Yeah.
on all things BMX. I love it. Like it is a staple at our house every Saturday, man. We got it on. We have a little Supercross. Yeah, we watch it. And a few years back when Melissa and I went, we actually it was a Triple Crown race there in Detroit. So um, that was there's a different vibe when you're at that race, though. Like you were saying with the Triple Crown, it's a different vibe, man. Like it's intense, isn't it? But like, so let's take that Supercross motocross, kind of tie it into what we opened the show about, because there's some good comments in the chat about the new format, right? It's people saying like, hey, it's headed in the right direction. Mick Rich, who's in is he in Japan right now? Is what he says. Yeah, he's tuning in from Japan. He watched, but he was saying he likes the new format. Um, he just was saying it's definitely a step in the right direction. So with motocross, right? You have casual fans. Is that something that could ever correlate or tie into um, BMX racing again? Because I feel like maybe in the '80s ish eras, that was the difference. There was casual fans of it, meaning those that maybe didn't throw their leg over a bike, but they watched it or they went to the races, especially if they were like big races. And that's like the success with the Supercross Motocross series. Is like it's just armchair quarterbacks out there watching. Is that something you think could happen in BMX?
Man, I World Cups are pretty darn exciting,
They are.
and World Championships, just
There's
the
casual.
vibe of, I
Yep.
mean, Europeans are so much cooler than Americans. we'll get loud either because we're drunk or because someone else is getting loud and we'll show them kind of thing. But these people, they bring air horns and
Hmm.
like make signage and do have dances and face paint and it's nuts, dude. It's like a completely different vibe. So I think the answer to that is yes,
Good.
but I don't know how to do that here in the United States. It's kind of like football, World Cup soccer.
Hmm.
They lose their shit. It's almost borderline dangerous, but that's the cool part about it. It's like going to a speed metal show, a Slayer show, there's going to be a couple of pits down front, and
Hmm.
it's like I don't want to go there, but something's leading me down there,
Yeah.
you know.
And I first off, I hope so. I do, because like you were saying about the World Cups and the Worlds, when you watch those, like the venues they'll have them at, there's just stands are packed, flags are up, yelling, screaming, hollering, hooting. Man, I'd love to see that at like all the let's just
Yeah.
start. Let's just start at the pro series, man. Can we get them there? Real quick, couple things in the chat. Robert Cardoza wanted to know: are you gonna announce the two-stroke world championships at Helen?
My track operator, Aaron Cook, has been trying to work on the staff over at Glen Helen and keeps sending my contact info to them. So they're working on that.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing right now. They're pretty good with their announcers. You know how it is. When you have a good announcer at the track, or maybe even they're not so good, but their knowledge is there. They know
Yeah.
everyone. They love everyone. Everyone loves them. It's kind of hard to fill that spot, because they're never going anywhere.
Right. Another question coming in from Hollywood Mike Miranda. Who's your favorite announcer besides your mom?
I gotta say Redman
Hmm.
because he just had zero fucks to give, and
It's a
he
different vibe, isn't it?
he was like my mom. They would say, "Well, sorry, we didn't select you to come announce this event." And she'd immediately just say, "Well, why? Is it because I don't have a penis?" She just hit him straight across the straight face with it.
Hmm.
And Redmond's that way, So, um, there's some amazing announcers out there, and even the announcers today um, are are pretty good at what they do. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just the knowledge of knowing those riders, the nicknames, the volume and intonation changes, the excitement levels, but no one could peak that nasally Redmond voice like Mike Redmond.
Hmm.
And especially this, the shit that he would say, the stuff he'd come up with on the fly is just legendary.
Do you remember when you were on the Paul's birthday show,
Yeah.
dude?
Dude,
He
I remember that nickname.
he right there just turned to Paul and was like pulverizer.
Yeah.
It's stuck with him since then.
It was the mic drop.
It was great. We're like,
Yeah.
I've got there's show we've done shit, man. We've done a lot of shows, especially mix shows and COVID shows, and then our regular shows. And I'm like, there's moments I'm like, I remember exactly where I was sitting and exactly what I was doing at that very moment. He was like, pulverizer, and I was
Yeah.
like changed the
Did
name on the
that,
screen. I was like, oh
did
my
that just
god.
happen? Yeah, you did. You were quick, man.
Oh, it was great. Um, yeah, there's a lot of comments in the chat. We'll get to those here real quick. I love it. Miranda said it's the all things spicy candy show tonight. We will
Oh,
change the name.
man.
Love it. You guys
Mike
got,
is the best.
man. It's like quick story I got to share with Mike so he can get his props. All right. I text Mike for Rad the other week when I was in the movie theater. I said, hey, man, there's a whole group of us from Waterford Oaks BMX track. And FYI, thanks for you guys going out to the fundraiser this evening and you guys tuning in, sitting at the restaurant watching. Big shout out to you guys. Love you guys. So we're all meeting like at the movie theater kind of by the track at Waterford Oaks, right? And I text Mike. I said, hey, man, I'm going to be at the Waterford Oaks like movie theater for Rad. Can I call you? Can I FaceTime you? And you know, we kept it quiet. Mike's like, absolutely. So we got like a big group. We did like a group picture. We posted it and we called Mike. And Mike like said hi to everyone that wanted to say hi. He took like a few moments. And it was funny because we're in the theater and the documentary thing came on afterwards and Mike's in it. And he got like, I heard this one lady go, that was the guy that was on Justin's phone. And I was like, how cool, man. It's like, that's Mike, dude. That's what he does.
Dude, you know you've made it when you hear that.
Well, dude, that's Mike for you, man. He's it, man. He's good stuff, dude. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Then he's like, man, I want to come out there next year. I was like, 50-year Waterford. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll have you. It'll be a good time.
He's so good.
Yeah, great. Yeah, they're all Waterford Oaks tonight. They're all hanging out at the Applebee's doing a little fundraiser for the track. So make sure you guys spend a lot of money because they take a percentage and give it to the track. So thanks for tuning in. Alice Bixler's tuning in, by the way. That's a lot of people going to we'll check in here in a minute. So I want to shift it up here because I had some fun questions for you. And then we got to dive into Danger Snacks here. And yeah, great question too. Mike says, who's your favorite modern day BMX announcer and why is it Mike Miller?
Oh man, crazy. Well, it's not Mike Miller. I got to go with Al Roybal just because he's just a crazy person. You know, he has lots of really good stories and analogies. Some of them are silly. He tries to keep it PG-13, but there's way deeper stuff going on back there.
Did you hear him and the Thunder Midget at the pump track race?
I did not. Man,
oh my God. So they got a Red Bull reel. The two of them did. Announcing it. And it's great. Like, I'm so fortunate to know Al and be friends with Al and Rick. So like hearing their voice on a Red Bull reel, right? Like, whoa, it's great. They killed it. A couple weeks ago we did a mixed open. We were talking about it. We called Al. Al, explained what they were doing with the pump track races with it's the Vela Solution Red Bull thing, and good big ups there, man, to them guys getting in there.
Yeah, that's cool. I got to announce a pump track championship qualifier at one of those Vela Solutions tracks through my friend Aaron, who gets me into the motocross, and it was epic, man. As a matter of fact, Eddie Clarté was there.
Ooh.
France just killing it, and unfortunately, because those elite guys were pushing that red line, his front wheel went over the turn, and he went down hard. He didn't race for a long time. So to see him back now, it's so good to see him back. He's just like better than ever. That dude's amazing. I have to say, I'm also a little partial to the NBL and Roy Balls from back in those days.
Oh, yeah.
So, I got to take my hat off for Grindle. He's definitely exciting and knows his shit.
I got to tell you, that guy, he changed my perspective on, because like I've never been in person to Redman announcing. Okay. So I've heard him. He's absolutely amazing. Your mom, man, thank God I got the pleasure of a handful of races to hear her. Loved it. Your mom was like an inspiration for me to grab a microphone and do it. But Grindle came out to a local track here in Michigan before the Waterford National. So my buddy Austin runs a track, Richfield Park. There's your shameless plug. And Grindle come out and they put on a pro-am. A bunch of money. Like everybody kicked in a whole bunch of money for this pro-am. What impressed me about Grindle, like there's a different level. Like you're like, man, this is good. And then there's that level you're talking about with announcers, okay? And I got to watch that happen. It was sort of like I saw the seed planted and then watered and then watched the flower grow. So he's out there announcing the pro-am at a local race, on a I think it was a Wednesday night, like we skipped a show or something. Correct me in the chat. It could have been a Thursday, but they did this pro-am, lots of money. So they had some heavy hitters there. Grindle rolls up and shits on everyone with his massive motorhome, and he announces. Now, it was really cool. And like I got to share a mic with him because Paul just tossed it and left. I was like, wow, I'm announcing with Grindle. And I fucked it up. Now, he took that race, and over the weekend, I heard him take names and finishes and little things that he took from that race earlier in the week, a local with a pro-am, and he interjected that into the national. Then, like, continuing this along, he still will reference this, and it's 9 months later, 6, 7, 8 months later. It's impressive. And like the big tip of the cap, because like that's the thing that separates that, I feel like, really upper echelon, that puts the names we talk about up there.
Yeah, and he's got a big heart. He's got a good soul. I mean, he was a big advocate for me, even when the powers that be, you know, didn't necessarily want it. He would say, "Dorsey, come up here later," and hand me the mic at the national. And,
Mm-hmm.
it was fun to do that,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
you go.
What's Joseph Tippett wants to know what's Brian's favorite Lonnie Tatton story.
Oh, well.
I love the reaction.
Okay, so we're in my bedroom, and there's three guys and two girls. Lights are off. I have a water bed going. It's me, Lonnie Tatton, and Peter Casano, and two girls. And Peter's got one, and I got the other. And for the whole time, Lonnie Tatton's at my shoulder, tapping on my shoulder, like, "Let me in, dude. Let me in." That's my favorite one.
Oh, and Mike Miller says, "Yeah, but who's the world's okayest announcer? That would be me." I think I have a T-shirt somewhere too, Mike. We can share that title, but I'm pretty sure I got a T-shirt that says that on there.
I
Uh,
just wish I knew as much as Mike Miller.
dude,
He's a he is he's just so, I mean, you can't get anything past him when it comes to BMX. That's the
no,
impressive part about Mike. He's just amazing.
yeah, and the little Ukaipa, that wrap up he does, love him. I love those videos he does.
Dude, Ukaipa is looking kind of Rock Hillish lately. Like it's got that vibe. Even the tower feels like you're in a, like the semi truck rolled up and set the rig up. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff.
So we got to talk danger snacks, which we will. But some questions I'd like to throw out there before we jump into danger snacks and we do our chat check in. What's your favorite type of music you like to listen to?
Well, I'm a meddler through and through. That's, first and foremost where my heart lies. So my all-time favorite song is Postmortem by Slayer, and my Wi-Fi network is named Slayer. Um, it used to be My Neighbor is an Ass, but I changed it because I moved.
That's a great Wi-Fi network.
But but I listen to all kinds of stuff. I
Hmm.
listen to Mary J. Blige and Sade and all kinds of just crazy everything. But when it comes to the stuff that gets me excited, man, I
Hmm.
gotta I gotta hear me some Slayer or
Hmm.
old school Iron Maiden or just rando bands, Killswitch Engage, and there's a lot of good stuff out there.
What's been a concert you've been to in the last, I don't know, maybe, 5 to, yeah, last 5 years? No, not 5 years. Let's go 3 years? What's one of the concerts you've been to that was like whoa?
Man, well, my favorite one is a, heavy metal mariachi band called
What?
Metalachi. Yeah, Metalachi.
What?
Look them up.
I am.
They're awesome, dude. It's nothing but whiskey bottles and violins and these crazy dudes with stringed instruments doing Metallica and Slayer and Maiden and Motley Crue and everything in between. So Metalachi is the shit. That's for sure. They're growing, and I really liked seeing them for sure. One of the most impressive concerts I've been to, it wasn't 3 years, is Pink,
Really?
which I didn't want to go see Pink. I wanted nothing to do with it. And I went to the show and I was blown away. It was the most impressive show I've ever seen. I mean, the athleticism on Pink and the fact that she was flying around the Honda Center via a cable,
Mm-hmm.
flying the entire span of the stadium, singing, doing like gymnastics,
Mm-hmm.
circus tricks, singing on tune to the audience in the cheapest seats in the back. It was incredible. It was so good that I saw her twice. I went to another
Nice.
show. So if you ever get a chance to see Pink, she doesn't disappoint. And she's got some moto, by injection in her family.
Right. Just yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's got like, bringing second gens into it.
Mhm.
Share secret time. Melissa took me to see Kelly Clarkson, which funny backstory. I worked at a radio station. It was an all request radio station out of a very small town next to where I grew up. They sent me to see her at like a what do they call it? Like a county fair. And it was like right after she won the whole it's American Idol.
Idol.
Yeah. So you get like a couple seconds in the meet and greet, like as a radio person. So I had my press thing, and I'm standing in line, and I was like, "This is so corny, dude." I'm watching everyone ask, and like that's when you would record, like, hey, will you say, whatever the radio station tag
Yeah.
ID is, right? So you got to do that. That's one question. You only got like three. They'll tell you while you're online. You got 3 questions. You got 30 seconds. And I was like, this is dumb. This is so dumb. So I got
Right.
up. I got up to her and I was like, 15 facial piercings at the time. Looked like I fell out of a Limp Bizkit reject video. And I said, well, rumor has it what's your favorite color other than clear? She's like, what? And then I was like, some other dumb question, another dumb question. And she asked me something, and then they're like, shoo, 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 shoo. So 23 years later or something, Melissa's like, hey, we're going to go see Kelly Clarkson. And first of all, don't give me any shit in that chat room because that's what you do for your woman.
I was gonna say you win, dude.
Yeah.
You're the winner.
And so we go, and she's really, she wasn't doing all the athleticism, but I was like, holy shit, she's really good. Because the
Yeah.
concert I was at back in the radio days, it was a outdoor little shit box, temporary stage. And we saw her at Little Caesars Arena here in Michigan. And I was like, wow. And she like stopped her show because some chick was holding a sign up. It might be something she does at every show, but regardless, it was new to me. And like talked to the people. But what was really funny to me was her stage that she was on was a bar.
Really?
Yeah, so those high dollar price tickets up front was like on this bar thing. So as people were filling in, like I'm a big people watcher, probably like you. I'm watching, and it's just they just would belly up to this bar, and that was the stage that she was.
Dude, that's so rad. That's full Coyote Ugly right
Dude, it
there.
was cool. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Yeah. Anyway, so Slayer and then Pink, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a mix.
That's a
I'll
range.
toss in some Eminem in there every once in a
Oh
while.
yeah, for sure. Henry from No Holds, he says he's sorry.
Say it. Say it.
Hang on. It starts way up. I got to scroll up. Where's he at? Yeah, he was referencing Al being a good announcer, and then they get into some chat. You guys can go in there and read it yourself. There's your teaser to go to the chat and see what they're saying. What's a fun fact people don't know about you?
Um, I don't know. I've got a pretty damn big mouth. I mean, I don't know if everyone knows I went to design school and I went to the most prestigious design school in Pasadena, the Art Center College of Design,
Mm-hmm.
and started a company right out of college, landed some really big name companies in my 20s, Mercedes-Benz and Disney and Nike, all because I sort of, this is kind of what I teach when I speak at colleges is I took a creative risk in college and I um, put together a multidisciplinary team from the school, photographer, product designer, someone from advertising, and a couple of folks from the graphics department. And we created a big interactive installation for the school. And nobody asked us to do this. It wasn't part of the curriculum, but it started to take a life on of its own. And the president of the school gave us keys and passes to the school 24 hours, gave us an office and the executive suites, said, you guys have full reign because he saw what we were doing. And I had teachers who were like, hey, if you want, I'll grade you on what you're doing because I believe in it. And you don't have to do my dumb poster project. And I had other teachers who were like, yeah, F that. You're doing my assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And so that spawned a company. So, moral of the story is there's those no rules. We ended up raising, gosh, $500,000 for the school, quarter million from the LA County Museum of Art, and $250,000 from Ed McCracken, who was then the CEO of Silicon Graphics, the big special effects computer company that did like Star Wars and stuff. So when you bring $500,000 in sponsored project, but the icing on the cake was presenting around the country at conferences and whatnot. One of my teachers who pretty much gave me the FU, no, you're doing my assignment, publicly stood up and said, hey, I just want to say I'm sorry. I didn't understand what you were doing. And I apologize for being a dick,
Mm-hmm.
but you definitely, changed my mind about it. And I just wanted to apologize for kind of being a jerk. So that was, it was nice as a student to have a teacher sort of eat crow for you. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, design's in my blood. And I'll just cap it off with, and it's my mom, man. My mom moved from New York because her father was way too strict. She moved when she was 18. She's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And
Mm-hmm.
moved to California, had me in Pasadena. And when I grew up and decided I wanted to go to college, I told her I wanted to be an artist. And she said, well, then fucking A, you're going to be an artist. And she made it happen because she didn't want to hold me back in any way. So I got to thank her for that.
Nice, nice, nice. We're gonna do the chat check-in here real quick. So we're gonna thank BMX Rocks Photography for sponsoring the chat. And again, if you guys haven't checked out their VIP deal that they're offering, it's a one-time price. You get like access to all the pictures she takes for the whole year, and she goes to all over the place. And they're sponsoring the flat pedal series that we're doing. So ATB and BMX Rocks, along with numerous sponsors, along with Bryan at Danger Snacks, we're putting on a 4-track flat pedal 46 and over race. So it's a series you're going to do, flat pedals, 46 and over. It's going to be a good time. We're going to go to Toledo, Marysville, Waterford, and Richfield Park BMX. It's going to be a good time. Thank you, Australia, for tuning in. We appreciate it, Matthew. So, yeah, it's like we looked at the schedule earlier this year. Mo and I did. That's the Roxanne's husband. And we were like, man, there's not a lot of bigger races happening here. Like, what can we make happen? Like, let's make something happen. And, you know, we put this together. It tons of people are jumping in. So thank you. We really, really appreciate it. Our chat check-in. Let's go. It's been busy, Brian. Very busy.
Dude, congrats on that series, man. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's really picked up steam. And what's really fun is like I got a screenshot the other day from a Facebook group in Pennsylvania where some guys were like, who wants to go over to this series and wreck some dreams? And I was like, yes, that's what we're talking about, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it is, man. And it's way blown up. And what's really cool is everyone we reached out to, and you know this, dude, because like I reached out to you. I'm like, hey, man, I want you to be part of this. Yeah, like $25-$50. Let's make it happen. Send some t-shirts, stickers, or something, whatever. Because my idea with that was like more the better, right? Like just odds. Hey, more swings and misses. Let's go. And I was like, well, nobody said no. Nobody said no. So I was like, wow. Now we have like a whole bunch of people involved in it. And what we're doing for that series is all the money that we get is for the year-end payout, right? Because the tracks are putting up their own money for every race, which is a good chunk of change. And then we have swag from like yourself and like the premier national racing team and Corrupt and Carter and Beer Budget. I'm sorry. Like if I read it, we'd go to next week's show. So we got like swag for all the stops. And then we're putting all that money that anyone gives us into the year end so we can pay like down and you can go home and, it's cool. So big thanks. So into our chat check-in. Ken Kellogg, thanks for tuning in. Always a pleasure. He's one of the guys that got me in the BMX, so it's pretty cool. 30-some years later, he still watches what we're doing here. Thanks, Sean. Thank you. Sean Gifford tuning in with us. Rick Carter over there at the Beer Budget BMX. Holly Dunn. She says, hey. Thanks for joining. Zachary Gavin from Wrenchman Wheel Builds joining us, as we heard earlier from Robert Cardoza.
Yeah, his boy shreds, man.
Dude, he killed it last weekend.
Rules.
Yeah, he killed it. Dave D'Ortonia from our good friends over at DB Sports and Bomb Squad. Mick Rich from Japan tuning in with us. Adam Orovitz, thanks for tuning in. Everett Robinson, which if you guys haven't noticed, shocker, April Fools. So I had to share a quick story with you. I got a couple phone calls about that April Fool's joke that Everett was going to join us, and I wasn't going to be on the show anymore. So, and one phone call came from one of the biggest jokers in BMX ever. So we were like, Chris and I were pretty happy we got one on. So Everett still has his amazing podcast show, Real BMX Racing. Make sure you guys tune into what they're doing. He will not be taking anyone's spot here, but thank you for playing along. Our good friend Michelle Carter, Ricky's mom, joining us this evening. Todd Tompkins, he was saying the national broadcast is feeling more like a professional sport. Yeah. And where he felt before it was more like somebody holding the phone up. Custom Earth Dirtworks, he said Sun City, Arizona, checking in. Alice Bixler, which you guys down in Florida, the scholarship deadline's coming up quick. I feel like it's this week, Alice. You can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. I think it's the 6th or the 7th. I'm trying to recall from memory, and I'm a racer. That means concussions. Mick says, overall, I thought the new format was okay. It was the first time for everyone, so things need to bed in a little bit, but I think it's a step in the right direction. And yes, those pro semis were stacked. Henry from over at No Hold Bars, he wanted to say hi. Robert Raymond says, what's up, old buddy? Chris Oshabaugh, he wanted to say hi to you and myself. So thanks for joining, you guys. Thunder Midget, he's moving around on all the outlets here. Thanks, man. The group over there and Tim Weiss and the group over at Waterford Oaks joining in at their fundraiser this evening. Mike Miranda joining us, Mike Miller, Joseph Tippett joining in. You guys, thank you guys. If you got questions, please put them in the chat. Al Roybal, thanks for joining us this evening. He said, Heaps, pay attention. Dude, I'm happy to help with that, by the way, man. Scott Lachansky, he says effing Slayer. I know you love it. And he actually, he agrees. Pink, she's badass, man. Um, Roybal says Dorsey, Tat, and Breverman. Am I saying that right?
Reverman.
Breverman.
Yeah.
Hashtag gangsters. And I'm not talking about the boys. Their moms were just as crazy. Miss and love them all.
Oh yeah. Reverman is fast dude. Janet Breverman was old NBL who's who back in the day, one of the BMX moms who were making everything happen, like Mary Garcia
Mm.
and Marge Rio. I don't know if you remember Pronek and Ronnie Rio, San
Mm-hmm.
Diego, all kinds of crazy history.
Mike Miller says Kelly Clarkson is one step away from Taylor Swift. You're walking a fine line, JT. I disagree. Kelly Clarkson has talent. Low and slow. He says lies wasn't for super producer. That's for you. Whatever, bro. Let's see here, Henry. He says, "Hey Brian, how did your mom used to yell out?" Wait, hang on. Henry says, "Hey Brian, how did your mom used to yell out my name at races?"
Zaria! I think that's what it was.
I can vividly remember the Garcia brothers and your mom doing something very similar when they would race. Uh, Jeremy and Cynthia Thompson, what's Brian's favorite NBL track?
Dude, that's a crazy one. My favorite NBL track. Well, I mean, my favorite race of all wasn't my favorite track, was the Christmas Classic, just because
Dude,
it was just how can you not get into trouble when the track's in the hotel?
those are
But
good times.
you never have to leave. The trouble just follows you around wherever you go, right?
Dude, that's
But
fast.
I would say probably my favorite track was Louisville.
That's a good one. Yeah, yeah.
Just because it scared the shit out of me, man. It was the Grands,
Mm-hmm.
you know? It was that track that was like pulling up to something very different from California. Our tracks here in SoCal blow. Everyone's like the world famous Orange Y, and I'm like, that place sucked. The reason that it was so good is because the caliber of riders we had just
Yeah.
making that track work would they were just incredible. It's just insane who's who of BMX.
Sorry, Chris. You're right. Sean. Thanks. I'll get it. I'll get it like 15 attempts
Oh,
later.
Chris, man.
Yeah. Mike Miller. His favorite track was a Azu AZUSA.
Yeah, Azusa.
Yeah. And then Mike Miranda
Older
says,
too.
was Brian's favorite local track Azusa or Azusa?
It was probably Azusa.
All right. We have a guy. So Todd Britton, he was on our show before. He has a frame company under that same name.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
Todd Britton.
city here,
Yeah.
my neighboring city that the track was in. And they named it Azusa because the mayor wanted it to be a city that had everything in it from A to Z in the USA. AZUSA. Wah, 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 wah.
He was ahead of his time because that's what Amazon did.
Yeah,
And look at Amazon.
yeah.
Uh,
Old Azusa was better than New Azusa, I
mhm.
think. Just even though New Azusa was pretty cool, got to be an extra in a Gene Hackman film, their Uncommon Valor. But Old Azusa was cool because of all those legends that
Mhm.
were there. You know what I mean? Harry and all those guys. And of course, McGrath was racing BMX back then at Azusa, so Old Azusa. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Henry said that was exactly how your mom would announce it. FYI.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Scott Lachansky said the Christmas Classic was a bomb, and that was so. You know that national question for you. So that national was like a national that sometimes people did that never did that was the only national they did for the whole year. And
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a national now like that because I don't really feel like there is, but it just I mean I'm not connected that tight to the national circuit, But
You
like,
know, nothing against USA BMX, but they just crushed the whole vibe when they acquired NBL, just because it's a different culture and different direction, you know. And so I guess you can't have two personalities unless you're bipolar.
hmm
And so that just sort of weaved away. But it was just such a great race because we'd leave at Christmas on Christmas morning. We'd open presents the night before, leave on Christmas morning, fly to Columbus, Ohio,
hmm
freeze our asses off, get to the hotel, and the track was in a little stadium in the hotel. But the best part about it was the states competing. It was like a mini worlds. Now that I think about it, I never
yeah,
really
you're
thought
right.
about it before. It was like a mini world. So every state was competing against each other, and each state would come up with their own crazy jerseys. So Team California was the California Raisins one year, and they were all
hmm
purple. We were freeway workers, metro workers with like literally high vis orange jerseys with reflector, like the whole.
hmm
It was crazy. And I gotta thank Dave Marietti at the Hot Shop because
Oh,
he
he
all
probably.
those
Yep.
jerseys, and came up with a lot of those concepts as well. Like, it would be cool is if we make, this. And, we had like, you know, Hayden Deegan prison jerseys one
Yep.
year.
Yeah.
It was really cool, but just what an amazing race. I actually have a couple of the Christmas classic
Yeah.
badges, Linda Dorsey, right there. But this is all with the little NBL lanyard. I miss those days. And but I've got all that stuff from my mom. But that was an awesome race. That was such a sick race.
Well, so when you're saying that little arena, that was Battalion Hall, right?
I don't know, dude.
I
I
think
was
I could be.
12.
Somebody correct me. But then they moved it to like the bigger area, and I never got to the that like Battalion Hall thing that was like the 2 story, where like it
Yeah.
had the kind of a balcony, I'd call it, around the
Yeah, it
top.
was like a balcony. Yeah,
Yeah,
now
that
that
was Battalion Hall, and then they kind of outgrew that, and like I vividly remember this, and I can't remember the year for sure. It could have been 96, 97, or hell, dude, 98. Your mom was still announcing, and it was in the bigger area, and they had like wood on the pro section, but Sean Butler fell through the ceiling, like on a bet or a dare, trying to like climb in the ceiling and go into like a party store. That was in the lobby area of the hotel. That was the thing, right? Like again, you're nailing the fact you were under one roof. And when you were saying like, is there a race like that? I was thinking maybe Vegas now, but like even Vegas, you're kind of under one roof, but like back then, if you remember, even the hotels were connected by those tubes. Remember? Like you could go across the street to the Marriott in
yeah.
that tube, and then you were at the like you had that big food court in the host
Food
hotel.
court, yeah.
Yeah, and
The most nutritious treats.
no, no. All I know about that was like everyone that came from warm states were stealing the trays to go slide because they were like, "What is this
Yeah.
white shit? The snow." Um, but like that doesn't really happen right now. I mean, granted, in fairness, they don't race during Christmas because they're off. But that part you were saying, like, you did your thing and then you went. Like, I can remember my buddies and I were like, man, like, like, we're going. Like, this is what we're doing. And we'd, like, tell our families, like, sorry, we got to go.
Yeah, we got to go. Yeah, it's I was grateful to race the last one. I'm grateful for USA BMX for having, keeping it going for a couple of years. It
Mm
wasn't the same. There was still a President's Cup that was given, but
hmm. Mm hmm.
didn't have that vibe of states competing and just everyone
Mm hmm.
getting into it and battling each other. But that was the first time I'd been back riding the President's Cup since I retired back in like 91.
Oh, wow.
And so I wasn't even there in 96 or 7 when you're referencing. But when I went back, it was like 2015 in Kentucky. And
Yep.
me and
Yep.
Jean-Marc Dervio went together. And I won all 3 days and brought home a President's Cup for my mom. So that's like my prize trophy. I haven't won a whole lot of big races, but there's anything that's special, it's that one.
Yeah, nice. And you were saying how it was the mini worlds. Man, Al said the parade of states. That was this thing. Like
Dude, it was
you
thick.
got there for that, dude. Like you were
It
there
was
for
like
that.
the Olympics.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember I watched our state. Like we had a his name was Ken Masters. He took over our state program and he like mirrored it after he like literally called, made phone calls. Like, dude, like video conferencing wasn't happening back then. And I know he went to Florida, talked to them, and I believe he talked to the people from California. But like how there was incentives, like you guys did in California, and I know Florida did it, where if you did like X amount of state races, hey, we'll pay for your President's Cup race. If you finish this and you qualify for the President's Cup, we'll get you your jersey, like you were saying, and do this and do this. And then like Michigan got kind of competitive in that at the President's Cup. And I mean, I remember like you could do like fairly decent in your state series and you wanted to because you could get your membership paid for, you got your jersey paid for, and your race paid for. And it was like a big deal.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, and but that was what like Florida and California and I think Texas and some other states were doing that brought a lot of people because like it was a big deal. And not that it impacted the overall cost that much, but it was like, man, if I'm getting a jersey and I get next year's membership, like I
Yeah,
gotta
it was
go.
good. It was good. It was very mini
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I don't know. You know this Hall of Famer that just joined us right now, Debbie Kelso?
I do.
She just joined your show. She don't join many shows, Brian.
That's awesome.
Thank you for joining,
Oh,
Debbie.
yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining. Francisco Vega, glad you're here. There's a lot of stories being shared about the Christmas Classic. Uh, hey, man, love you guys sharing the stories about Christmas Classic, President's Cup. Those are great times. Um, let's talk about what's going on over at Danger Snacks, man.
Man, I'm working on a lollipop. I finally got my sticks figured out, and that's going to be pretty cool. Uh, you'll know it's you'll know it's a Danger Snack lollipop when you see it. Let's just put it.
I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a lot of fun. And then I've had a lot of people request that, double hot. So I've been working on that
Hmm.
one just for, sort of an ass kicker, like way, way, way hot. So I almost got that one dialed. I'm going to actually send that out to a few my VIP customers so that they can sample it out, especially the people who've been begging for it. So that's been what's up as far as the product side. And I'm just having a lot of fun. I never thought I'd be in the kitchen, the commercial kitchen, making candy, man.
Hmm. Uh, what was it that I'm sure we talked about this on the other show, but just to let the people know now, what was it that inspired you to start Danger Snacks?
Uh, well, it really came down to the fact that I was bored as fuck in my job
Okay.
because I've been designing really great brands on really big projects. But as you know, sometimes not all of us have the perfect job like you do.
Easy.
Uh, sometimes you work with a company, and even though you're on a prestigious product, they want you to stay in your lane. And I really was craving having my own thing that I could hold in my hand, especially having come from design school, getting a degree in graphics and packaging. So I decided to take my love of food and my love of sweets and my love of spice
Hmm.
and create a candy that I could easily open with one hand, pop it while I'm riding my bike or carry it in my pocket and staging so I can get fired up in the lanes or most importantly if I was at work in one of those conference room meetings, where you're just like, will this ever end? What are we talking about? Let's just go get some stuff done. And that's how it came about. But the best part about it was as I was creating this Breaking Bad style candy to do customer testing, creating all these formulas and whatnot, I actually realized that it gives you a head change. I thought that candy, or the reason I like spice, was because of the flavor. But most of the feedback I was getting was, man, I don't know what you put in this shit, but it wakes me up when I'm fading in front of my computer at 3 o'clock after lunch. And so I started to do the research, and next thing you know, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize that the science behind capsaicin, that it actually triggers an endorphin release every time, which is why Grindle is just like, oh dude, this saved me on the drive back from that national, keeps you going. So that's kind of how it started, was me craving a head change, not realizing it, kind of being bored and wanting to have some fun. And the reason I was bored is because now I have a candy where I can use the F word on it if I want. I can take some risks and try some different things. Some work, some don't. It's been a lot of fun.
I'm going to put the website up here, and like we'll continue talking about Danger Snacks. So you guys get an idea of this. Here's the website. You got your new flavor up there, the blood orange, which
If you do a
is,
little scroll, there should be a little package that flies by.
oh,
There you go.
look at this.
Yeah. So,
Oh, boy.
so it's kind of fun. It's got that fuck yeah guarantee. If you don't like it, I'll refund your money. Most people like it though. Um, but yeah, dude, I think I was thinking you were talking about the Bro Deal coupon code. I think you get 13% off when you order with a Bro Deal. But anyone who orders tonight from the show, I'm going to toss in an extra pack, even with the Bro Deal discount. So you just let me know in the order notes, whatever flavor you want, vanilla, sea salt, or blood orange sours, and you'll get a free pack. How's that?
That's a bro deal you can't turn down.
Yeah, right?
I am just making a note real quick. Love it, love it. What do we have planned? You were talking. You have the for the future. The lollipop, right? Anything else? Any other flavors besides the double hot and the lollipop?
Yeah, I am working on another flavor, but I haven't figured out the right recipe yet. Because
Mm,
I'm the candy maker, so I actually have to formulate it up. So I'm figuring it out. I want to do sort of a tequila inspired flavor,
love it.
and I'm figuring out some naming for that. So it's that one's a fun one, but I just haven't got it right yet. The
Hmm.
other thing is I have a Danger Snacks dust, which is that when I'm manufacturing the candy, part of the process, I yield this powder, and it's just powdered Danger Snacks. So I've been doing a lot of recipe testing with the powder, with drinks and desserts, and cooking with it, micheladas, all kinds of fun stuff. So again, it's a perfect michelada powder, but I'm working on the formulation so that, because sugar melts and it gets sticky when it gets wet. It's not like tahine. So I'm working on that. So those are pretty much the things that I'm working on. I have a 3D model being made right now for a new die for my candy machine, which is going to be, kind of a fat fucker, like a really big, much larger piece, one that you're going to be like, get out of here, go away. And it won't. So, which is why the lollipop's nice, because it has a handle.
Oh,
So I'm just having fun with candy, man.
it's
Inspired.
well, so on all of them you have like a little saying on them, right? And you know, I don't think I can get like no, it ain't gonna show there. So you got like like this
Yeah,
one.
like this one says get
I'm
after
gonna
it. It
put you
probably doesn't.
here. Yeah, that funny
But
story. That's the one
that's
I
get
have.
after it. Yeah, and but I have a bunch of different phrases. There's
Yeah.
one that's send it, another one that says get shit done,
Mm-hmm.
wake the fuck up,
Yep.
you know, kinds of fun. I have even one that says "Vamonos,
Yep.
get a move on." So uh, that's why I wanted to do my own product, is
Mm-hmm.
especially doing the packaging. I'm pushing my printer. I'm like, hey, let's do a different sentence on each package, and they're like, what? But because it's digital printing, they're like, we've never done this before. I'm like, well, now you have. So kind of
Yeah.
fun.
It's so fun part we're at races, and I've like pulled this out of my pocket and staging, and yeah, look, we're in the past our prime class, and I'm like here, and like handing them out. We get to the top of what is this? I'm like, just relax, you'll be all
He
right.
tried to poison me.
Yeah, you'll be okay. We're gonna go. Then I'm like, son of a bitch, they just beat me. So it gives you the pep in your step when you're racing. It's always good stuff. Got to share this story. I don't think I've shared this one with you. We're down at Toledo, and you would ship me because you're an awesome. God, I think you've been with us since Ground One, right? Like,
Been a while.
yeah. So you'd ship me for a whole shot race that we did 2 years ago, and we're doing it this year. And so we had some left over. So we took them down to this race in Toledo. I think it's like a Halloween race. We put them out like candy, so the kids would come up. This kid goes, "I bet you can't eat a whole tube of them." And his brother goes, "Yes, I can." And he did. And it was the funniest shit. I'm like, dude, don't do that. Don't. He ran up to the concession stand and was trying to find milk. They ain't got no milk. But the poor kid tried to eat. Yeah, I don't know. He's like 13, 14, whatever. Totally did like a whole tube of the Danger Snacks. Like it was, we knew, so we were just waiting. We were waiting for that to happen.
They're really good if there's someone who you're kind of mad at. You just sort of slip them one without telling them it's spicy. So, but
They
some people can take it. You know who can take it is Morris. Jason Morris, man, he loves those things.
mhm,
He pops them like nobody's business.
yeah. Um, yeah. Here's a question I got for you. Favorite movie?
I'm gonna go with I like old school comedies. I'm gonna go with Mel Brooks, Young
Ooh.
Frankenstein from way back in the day. It's a
No, I know all about that one.
really
Gene
fun.
Wilder.
Gene Wilder, yeah, he must have an enormous Warnstücke. Yeah, Brucha. It's just some funny shit. Marty Feldman and Peter Doyle as Frankenstein, Madeline Kahn. So awesome,
Did
and that was my mom's favorite too. So
you know uh Kareem was on last week, Rasul, right?
I saw that.
Yeah. Guess what? Mel Brooks, one of his favorite movies, Blazing Saddles.
There's a guy that's like the Redman of filmmaking. That guy's just like, I'm gonna do history of the world and talk shit about Jesus. It's just so good. Moses walking down the mountain with three big carved stones, and he loses his balance, and one of them crashes. I've got the 15, and it falls, and he goes, 10, 10 commandments. Just, who writes this shit? He does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. 2 weeks in a row talking about Mel Brooks movies. Like, I'd actually, last week when we were talking, I forgot about Young Frankenstein. Like, I remember that one when I was a kid, like being on VHS, and we'd watch that one. It was hilarious. I don't even think I knew what I was laughing at. It was
Yeah,
such a great one.
that's a
Um,
fun.
I got a couple people tuning in here. Scott Stallone saying hi. Damon Tucson, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Appreciate it. So we got to do trivia, man. We're going to do our trivia here. So, you guys, I hope you were paying attention. All right. So, got to thank Dye Job Apparel for bringing us the trivia each and every week, and all of our sponsors that pitch in and bring you the giveaways. So we did like a big ship out a couple days ago. You guys that are tuning in, when just to let you know, like we totally are self-funded here. So sometimes it takes a minute to get stuff shipped out, and it's like a month, 6 weeks. That's typically like we just box it all up and then send it out. Then We're not UPS. We're not FedEx. However, we thank all of our sponsors for getting us the swag that we give away each and every week. So this week, got you this dope getaway visor from our good friends over at Motor City Harley. You get your own sunglasses, air checker here, your koozie, and then your little swag bag here with your Danger Snacks right at the top. Let me go here. This one, you got yours. There it is right here. And now, because I've been addicted, Brian, to the sticker meal, I got like all kinds of ATB stuff now.
Oh, dude, the glitter is my favorite. I never thought I'd like glitter.
The glitter.
I'm going to send everyone who orders one of these little Danger Snacks glittery stickers. So
those, yeah,
they're so bitchin'.
Yeah. So here's the thing: being you're from the warmer state, from our friends at Dye Job Apparel, your own ATB cooling rag, okay, and from our friends at Bombshell, the T-shirt, and put it all in your Motor City Harley Davidson
Nice.
backpack. All right, good stuff. All right, let's set that over there. So we were talking earlier, and we were saying, you'd picked up announcing, and you've been doing the motocross announcing. It's in your blood. The announcing's in your blood, and we'd said, you're doing the motocross racing announcing. We want to know how many years you've been doing the motocross. Don't answer yet. You've been doing the motocross announcing. And I really hope while jogging all of this stuff, I got the right answer, because that's our trivia question. And speaking of in your blood, next week's guest, Mr. BMX in your blood himself, Joe Doherty, joining us.
Nice.
He races our friend Dave D'Ortonia from DB Sports World, who's tuning in right here up there in New York. And it's always a good time. Probably going to have to set the clocks and set a timer, because we can, just like you and I, Brian, Joe and I could talk a long time, man. It's a fun shit, man. He's doing big things over there with BMX in your blood. So, yeah, trivia question. How many years has Brian been announcing motocross? So that's in there. Yeah. Yeah. So, are you ready? I got a couple for you. I have a couple lines from a movie. I need you to give me the character that said the line. Are you ready? It's from you and I's favorite movie that we share together, Major League.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do I have to give the character's name or the actor's name?
Either or. That's fine. Okay. That's either or. Okay. So. I got that, dude. I went through and wrote down probably like 20. Actually, I started and I was like, shit, dude. Like, this whole movie's so good. All right, let's cut through the crap, Vaughn. I got one thing to say to you. Strike this mother effer out.
Well, I'm trying to remember his name. He's the one that is it Charlie Sheen?
Slept with his wife? Well, Charlie Sheen hooked up with his wife, yeah.
Yeah. I keep thinking like Doyle or some kind of D.
Yeah, you're
name.
close. Yeah, Roger Dorn.
Dorn, that's it. Dorn.
Yeah.
I knew it was a D name. Yeah. Dorn. That's crazy. I think that guy went to prison.
Was it Corbin Bernstein or something that played him?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here's the layup. One hit. That's all we got. One goddamn hit.
Dude, you lost me at that one. That one I don't know.
That's Harry Doyle, the announcer.
Oh, just
a bit outside.
That I would have got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
doesn't matter. Nobody's listening.
That's literally the next thing he says.
Oh, really? Okay,
well. You can't say goddamn on the air. Don't worry. Nobody's listening anyway.
That's such a good movie.
So, like little inside thing here. When this is on, this is like Brian will be like, "You watching?" And I'll be like, "Of course I'm watching." Or I'll
Yeah.
ask him, "Are you watching?" And he'll be like, "Of course I'm watching." How did we even make the connection? We like Major League so much.
It would have to have been a movie quote of
Yeah,
some sort.
yeah, exactly. Let's see if anyone we got. No, they still haven't got a correct answer on the trivia. So let me do this real quick. I'm gonna take this off, and while we're doing that, funny story, you got like people answering the question of the major league thing.
Oh, the Major League, yeah, I needed some help on that
No,
one.
it's all right. It's good shit. Let's go here. All right, so here's one. I'll just give you a hint. It was one of the coaches. Okay, nice catch, Hayes. Don't ever fucking do it again.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't remember his name, but that
Yeah.
was so good when Dorn gives him the doctor's note saying, I'm not allowed to do any calisthenics. And
Exactly.
he takes the note, looks at it, tears it, drops it, pulls his dick out, takes a piss on it. It was so good.
Pisses on his contract. Oh, it's
Yeah.
good shit. All right, once again, how many years has Brian been announcing the motocross racing? You guys put that in there.
It's on one hand.
Fits on one hand. We got 8, 14. What the fuck, 14? No.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to blow it if I start doing math.
Hey, last one. Ready? Hats for bats. Keep bats warm. Hats.
Do it again.
Hats for bats. They keep the
That's
bats warm.
yeah. That was that big
Yep. Yeah.
freaking what was his name?
Uh, um, Hang on, because I can remember the actor's name. Pedro. Pedro.
Yeah,
Pedro.
he was gonna slaughter a chicken in
Yeah.
the
They brought it.
gym. They gave him a bucket of Kentucky Fried
They
here. You
brought
use this instead. We don't can't have people throwing up in the
See, you know this way. You know that.
man.
Ah, a lot of. Remember the "Don't Steal Home Without It."
Right, yeah.
All right. Well, we do.
Come on already?
we do have an answer, and here's what we're gonna do because he'll literally like put numbers in all the way down. Yeah, Scott LaChancy should have used a live chicken. Not 4 years, but we do have the correct answer. And Tim Weiss, I'm going to take the prize pack and donate it to your local track of Waterford Oaks, so you can give it away when you're down there. Tim's an announcer there at Waterford Oaks at the
Cool.
races. Yeah, so you can give it away. But he actually he did get 5. Now, in fairness, he went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But it was 5, right? Yeah. All right. I want to throw it over to you to close us out this evening, Brian. And thank you for joining us. But I want to put the camera over to you so you have the screen to take it away for us.
Right on, man. Well, seeing all these old school BMXers on the chat, Roy Ball, Saria, uh, just Robert, everyone is so cool. Miranda, I was at Frogtown last year and we
Mm-hmm.
walked into a pizza joint and suddenly my ass got really warm. Someone was feeling me up and it was Mike Miranda. So that was definitely one of the highlights of my BMX career right there, is being felt up by Mike Miranda. But just a class act. But I love all things BMX, man. What you do here is just sick, with the beer budget and Thunder Midget and just all the crew. You've got such an epic crew. You're a good dude, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're a good dude.
No, I really do. Yeah, pretty blessed doing what we're doing here. It's a good time. Yeah, hey, we get to meet some really cool people like yourself and everyone else that's joined us. And I was saying this just last night. I, uh, dude, I wasn't a NorCal, SoCal guy. I was just this dude that picked up a bike and fell in love with the sport. And many years later, in his fucking 40s, started this. And I've got to meet everyone I used to pin up on my walls and know through people. And I've been pretty fortunate. And it's fun when we get to talk like you and I do, because you know what that means. I've shared it with you a few times.
It's such an important piece of history, BMX racing. I mean,
Uh,
it's what we did as kids. You know, you couldn't unless you lived in the desert or, way back in the old days before no one cared and there weren't so many rules. You rode your bikes. That's legal. And the progression and just the craziness of the sport and the talent,
mhm.
to be promoting that and bringing back the old and giving props to the new. It's so important for the kiddos. I mean, BMX kept my ass out of trouble. And I did get in trouble, but not trouble.
Mhm.
Uh, Congratulations on just keeping this shit alive, man.
It's we're our sixth season, buddy. You've been part of it. Yeah,
It's incredible.
yeah. We're well over 5 years in, 200 and almost 40 shows, and our satellite shows we've done. It's a good time. And
Well, I
the
think
coolest,
USA BMX needs to bring a race day live show and have you host it,
uh,
like Hubbard back in the day.
man, as long as they don't put me with Carmichael or that fucking other guy that's with
Well,
him.
I'm saying a BMX one with the
Oh,
new form,
yeah.
like
Oh,
have the pre-show,
yeah, dude. I could get down on that. Yeah, I don't want no
and we,
part of the race. I don't want no part of the race day. But I'll do the pre-race. I'd talk all day, man. Who would be our track guy? Who's the dude, the cock diesel guy they talk to on race day live? Jay.
Jason Thomas.
Yeah, they always put him down on the track, and they go to him. But like on race day live, he's like more, yeah. We
He's so scary looking. He's got that intimidation factor. He
bro,
reminds me of Greg Hill.
he
All
would
it,
be, he'd be the only like 5'6" bouncer I'd ever hire in my life.
oh, dude, yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'd have to find that guy though for the USA BMX Race Day Live. We need that guy,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
you should do it.
yeah. I'm down for anything. I got this. I got this thing figured out.
Right
Someday
on.
people will know like how many other podcasts and live stream shows I've helped launch within BMX.
Yeah. Well, I gotta give much love to everyone who's signed on to the chat. Just the names, it's just incredible. I got to get to know more people in BMX because we have a common love for the same shit, man.
Mm,
We're brothers,
100%.
sisters.
Yeah. Oh, we got our dude, Cheeto. Cheeto's gonna be our on track guy, and Melissa's gonna be our Will Christensen. We've got this shit covered, dude.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Dude. We have USA BMX Race Day Live covered.
You should do it.
With what? Like sitting in Heartland and doing it? I can't afford to fly around yet. I got a lot of scratch off tickets. I'm gonna win from Ricky Carter's little going to the Worlds. Maybe I can get that and win then.
All right, dude. I'm sending you positive vibes.
Yeah. See what we did there? We took the whole show, tied it back to the beginning with Ricky Carter's raffle.
Yeah,
You
there
see,
you go.
you know how
That
to
was
do it.
good.
You're going to be part of Race Day Live, Brian.
That was good. All right, deal.
Look, man, I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Gate 9, thank you for tuning in this evening. Cheeto, you guys are awesome. Nick Quinn from Motor City Harley and Melissa, she's tuning in. Of course, you're going to be the Will Christensen at Race Day Live. Everyone wants you there. You got to have you. We love it. And Tim Weiss, everybody, thank you guys. Made it a great show this evening. We will see you guys next week when Joe Doherty joins the show. Brian, thank you again. Hang out for a second, all right?
Yep.